So I don't know if you've been following this Linus Tech Tips slash Gamers Nexus slash consumer and viewer revolt that's been going on, but it's actually pretty wild. I talked about yesterday that Gamers Nexus put up a 45-minute video cataloging what I think are a variety of issues with Linus Tech Tips videos output, ranging from simple oversights to and like maybe lazily updating, making corrections by using asterisks instead of reshooting it, not doing enough to go back and correct things when he gets things wrong. These were, like, in my opinion, mid-level criticisms that were fair, and because there were so many of them, it was worthwhile. However, then he put out what was a very defensive type apology statement that really didn't take a lot of responsibility for the oversights. And just as predictable as always, now ex-employees are coming out. He stopped making videos. It's turned into a huge mess. All Linus Tech Tips needed to do was say, holy moly, look at all these oversights. We're immediately going to hire more editorial oversight, and we're going to fix this going forward. We're going to apologize. We apologize, and that's it. It's not like he was hooking up with fans. It's not like he was stealing other people's content. It's not like he was willingly, like, in my opinion, I don't think he was willingly lying. I think that the content that was getting put out was getting really sloppy because they were trying to push out so much of it, while they were trying to maintain this, like, small guy, I'm just a guy who likes computers look, even though they're a super huge mega corporation nowadays. But today things got a lot worse, and now he's quit making videos over it. This video, by the way, speaking of, is sponsored by Meta PCs. They are the computer I use. They're the computer I recommend to people directly. It's my actual computer that I'm using is on here right now. I worked with them to get kind of like a good, better, best, Insano build list, but their real bread and butter is in their pre-builts, their ready-to-ships. They're veteran-owned. They also do fully customizable builds. And if you use promo code TheQuartering, you'll save some money on it, which is even better. Link will be in the description below. So Linus Tech Tips puts out an apology video that is very poor. First of all, he monetized it. A 20-minute video,
I think Luke
monetized apology. Very, very, very bad. This is the video here. It currently has 109,000 upvotes. And what you can't see without the plugin, 73,000 downvotes. Linus Tech Tips stopped being just a YouTuber who was helping the little guy a long time ago. They have this guy, new CEO. They've got, everybody getting in front of the camera, doing these weird, like, apology stuff. And what's interesting to me is, at the end, you finally get Linus. And I think what most of the backlash is, most of the backlash, from what I understand, to this apology video is first that they monetize it. Idiots. You don't monetize apology videos. This is one of those, like, unwritten YouTube rules, especially when you have 15.5 million subscribers and going down, I'm sure. And it was weird. So they said, we've heard feedback from our community, from our team internally, and monetization has been turned off. They should have known better, obviously. And the reaction to this apology video is not going well. The channel has been growing really steadily at 100,000 subscribers per month, almost exclusively. They lost 100,000 yesterday. I think they probably only make updates every 100,000. But I suspect they're going to lose more. If we look at the live count, I don't know if it's going to go down more or not. But, I suspect that this will continue to go down. And I don't blame it. It's just such a sad situation because I like Linus Tech Tips. I think that in general, their channel is a big force for good. But I also, have an issue when you make these kind of mistakes. I mean, this is a channel, by the way, just their main channel generates 82 million views a month, which I don't know. They're obviously super family friendly. I don't like to talk about other YouTubers' money, but I would suspect that he's making $300,000 to $400,000 a month in AdSense, and I would probably double that in terms of advertisers and things of that nature. So this is a huge empire, and it's been pretty steady. 100,000 December, January, February. They didn't gain any in March, but then they got right back on track with 100 in April, May, and now they lost 100 yesterday. Now, again, that's how it updates. I suspect they're going to lose a lot of subscribers over this. So they come out, they monetize their apology video, which was very stupid. A lot of people memeing on him. They forgot the dog. They forgot the long sigh. I don't know why the CEO was doing that video in and of itself. It's stupid. You see, like, it's just all over the place. Then, of course, right on schedule, a female employee comes out and makes claims. The exact day that he's going through this controversy, she releases a statement, alleges. Now, I read her Twitter thread, and almost all of it was ridiculous millennial whining about having to make so many tweets a day. Oh my God, I was expected to do 2 TikTok videos a day and 3 tweets. Plus, I had to make 2 videos a week. I started reading it and I was like, oh my God, like literally, who cares? However, there was some other stuff that came up that is more important. If you look at this individual's thread, she put, to stop speculation and DMs I'm receiving, I chose to quit my role at Linus Tech Tips because it and the working environment I was facing were ruining my mental health. The number of items the social media role at the time was expected to fill was incredibly high, so you didn't want to work hard. So when I read that, I was like, oh my God. But there's more to it. So she writes, I was expected to post 3 whole tweets a day, 2 Instagram posts, and 2 TikToks minimum per day. So that's an hour's work. I was also expected to film, edit, and post 2 float plane exclusives per week. That included wrangling people to be in them and when they were also struggling to get their work done. This is not a lot of work. 3 whole tweets a day, 2 Instagram posts. I mean, again, isn't the Instagram post the same thing as the tweets? I'm don't really care about this. It comes across as fully millennial. But there are some other things. I was also expected to manage, plan, and come up with, execute, and get approval for, that she's really buffering this on her resume, and scheduled all the sponsored content on socials, not including YouTube. Now, that is a lot of work. I had a full-time employee for that. All while being told not to complain because my job was the fun job. I cannot speak on what it's like now, but the entire team working on seemingly what I was expected to accomplish. They have an entire team working on what I was expected to accomplish alone. And that sounds like sour grapes. I misspoke originally when I stated I had signed an NDA. I thought the employee handbook acted as one. I'm not a lawyer. I never publicly made any statements regarding my time there because I feared even more backlash from a community that already was attacking, defaming, and sending me threats on my life. Okay, that's canned response. I also feared for my future and career given that Linus Tech Tips is large and has industry connections. Again, none of this is really that big of a deal. But you see, my time at this company brought mental health to an all-time low. You could talk to anyone who was around me during my employment there. So you didn't like the job and you quit. That's what adults do. I constantly was belittled by certain members of upper management. My work was called terrible and I was incompetent. When I would reach out to managers to try and get help with those situations, I'd be told to put on my big girl pants and be more assertive. So it sounds like she just wasn't cut out for the job. Ultimately she does make some, after publicly announced by Linus that he was hiring me without my knowledge or consent, why would, and also before I was even offered the job or shown a salary, I agreed to sign the employment contract. That's stupid. A lot, and look how long, why they're still using a thread. So it sounds like it was not a great place to work. I'm not sure, following the attempts to receive help, Reeves alleges she was inappropriately grabbed multiple times. Don't do that. Don't put your hands on other people in the workplace. And barred from appearing in Linus Tech Tip videos. The opportunities Linus presented me were nothing in comparison to the day-to-day issues I faced. Reeve continued claiming that she was met with multiple sexist remarks throughout the duration of her employment. I mean, who knows? This is a modern woman. Third wave feminism is a thing, so you can't even tell her to, that she looks nice that day. So I don't know. There are other things that are inappropriate. I was asked about my bedroom history, my boyfriend's bedroom history. That's not okay, obviously. There were certain issues at the company involved bedroom tension, and they would take a coworker out on a coffee date to ease it out. Furthermore, Reeve recounts that she was asked to twerk for a coworker. Obviously, that's not okay. Called various slurs, but nothing ever came from reporting these incidents. So, that stuff's not okay. And there's obviously, internal paranoia, all this kind of stuff, which leads us to, all video production is now on pause following the gamers' Nexus backlash. Linus also apologized for his initial response, but the video does not address the allegations from an ex-employee about company culture and people putting their hands on them. He called his own response, my lame response in the forum was a huge and unnecessary blunder. I get it. But in today's culture, you really only get one chance to apologize, one chance to get it right. I don't think that Linus did any of these things intentionally. I don't think he's a bad human, but this is the way the internet works. They went from we're not going to talk about it to a whole episode. As someone who's watched every LTT video for the past few seconds here, without a doubt, I would trade the daily uploads for a few high quality uploads in a heartbeat. I think people would agree with that. It seems like people are willing, you see 3 key takeaways. Linus made most of the blunders. He should be making most of the apologies. While it's right for other people to involve, people want to hear from him. Six Sigma's Andon cord has to be just that. The physical world, the Andon cord stops. We're talking about that. And the hardest part, if you're not in charge, you're not in charge. So these are management platitudes. So I'd say that this probably isn't the end, but people are not happy with them. As I said, it's got 75,000 dislikes and 100,000+ people have already unsubscribed. I think more will come out. I think that the situation will get worse because that's how all of these things work. I've been reporting on this for years, so I know exactly how these timelines go. Make sure you follow or subscribe down below so I can keep you updated. I'm sure we'll have more information later today or tomorrow. And it really is unfortunate. And I hope that Linus Tech Tips can get their stuff together. I don't hold any ill will towards Gamers Nexus because I think the points that they made were extremely valid and good. But I think the world is better with a fully functional Linus Tech Tips. They just got to, get this stuff fixed. So hopefully that'll happen before they lose, their audience forever, because that's how this stuff happens. That's how this stuff works. People just move on and don't come back. So it's going to be interesting to watch.